welcome back. This is Natasha. So I'm going to be showing in this video 3 cards that I made with the My Hero Arts, my monthly card kit for March. That was a mouthful. So I'm just showing you kind of quickly what comes in the kit. There's some of these reactive inks, the stamp and die set, and then also the little embellishments that come in the kit for this month. Okay, so starting with the first card, I took the square die that came in the card kit, and I'm going to be using the background that came with, this is the piece that they attach your dies and your stamps to. I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm using the aquarium die, and I'm going to be cutting that out with some white cardstock. I'm going to be using a piece of acetate to put behind that aquarium die cut. So I just put it into my MISTI because I did want to stamp my sentiment. So just getting placement onto my acetate sheet, and then using that with the archival ink, the jet black, and I'm going to be stamping that onto the acetate. So I popped up the white pardon, the white die cut on some foam adhesive. It's a really simple card. This is about it. I'm just going to add some clear bubbles and some flat crystal sequence in random spots here and there, and this card is done. So it's really simple. And the sentiment that I chose for this one is, I would swim the 7 seas to find you. Really cute and simple. And then I do just place it onto a white card base. Okay, and like I told you guys in previous videos, I don't have any fancy pickers to pick up my, sequence or any of my embellishments. I just use my finger. And I know I maybe should invest in one, but for now this works and I don't have any problems with it, so use my fingers. It's part of being crafty, right? Okay, so I'm gonna just try to see if I can get a nice shot of this here. Maybe I don't. I'm just going to show you that I made a white card base here. And then I'm just going to attach that piece on with some liquid adhesive, attach that card front onto my card base. And that is the first card I made with this card kit. Okay, so for the second card, don't mind the mess on my desk. I'm super sorry. I didn't know that it was all in there. Sometimes it happens. And I don't know if your desk is messy, but mine's can get pretty messy when I'm crafting. Okay, so I took a Tim Holtz watercolor card stock, and I'm prepping my surface with a distress sprayer, and I just sprayed a whole load of water. And then taking this the Nouveau, it's the Cherry Bomb. It's the Glimmer Mist, or the Glimmer Powder, Shimmer Powder, sorry. Yeah, Shimmer Powder. And look at that thing go. Like once it hits the water, it's like fireworks. Really, really nice to watch. So I just added more water and kind of just took my towel or my rag, and I just sopped up the water because I did overload this piece with a lot of water. And I just like watching like your towel pull all, or your rag pull all of the excess water. It's just kind of cool. So I did leave it in here. I don't know. I like watching it. Okay. So my idea was to take some jellyfish and some seaweed stamps from the stamp set, and I wanted to stamp it onto some vellum, use some VersaFine black ink, and then heat emboss it with some clear embossing powder. Okay, so I just showed you the panel that is all dried, and then I die cut it with the Lawn Fawn wonky stitched border. And then I'm taking the Avriel, the Fog ink and using some of those fish that came in the stamp set just to do a background on this panel. And because it's watercolor cardstock and because there's already ink on the background, I just held the stamp there for a couple of seconds just to make sure that the ink kind of gets saturated into the cardstock. So taking this black mirrored cardstock, it's kind of like a black silver cardstock. You guys have seen me use it before. I used a cloud border die cut, and I cut kind of to resemble like the bottom of the ocean floor, like rocks and coral and stuff. And I attached that with liquid adhesive, and then taking my vellum pieces that I stamped and die cut out, I'm going to be using some matte multimedium and then kind of doing placement of my images here. This video was so long, so it's going pretty quickly, and I'm having to talk really fast to kind of get everything in here. But I took a excuse me, it was like over an hour long video with these 3 cards because of the techniques, and you know, I really went into depth with the techniques, so I had to cut it down to, right now it's 17 minutes. So yeah, I did a lot of trimming, so it had to move fast. So pardon me if I seem like I'm rushing through this, but I wanted to make sure I got the important parts in here for you guys. So I took all those die cuts and I put them down with matte multimedium. I added some clear bubbles and some black flat sequins, and I'm going to be adhering that to a top folding white card base. I'm just using some liquid adhesive. Okay, and then that will be it for the second card I made with this kit. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing another 3 cards with this kit, just because it kind of took me a while to get this one out. But let me know in the comments if you would like 3 more cards for inspiration with this kit. I can pull together some things. So okay, this card right here is the first time I've ever done this card, and I actually was watching Jennifer McGuire's channel, YouTube channel, and she did a card similar to this. So I'm showing the measurements. 7.5 by 4.25 is how long you want your pieces of cardstock to be, and then you're gonna score them at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. So this is gonna be like a shadow box card. It's gonna kind of look like an aquarium. It's super cool, and it's the first time I did it, so there was some trial and error for sure. So I'm going to take that that score line, and I'm going to fold it away from me, and then use my bone folder to crease that nice and good. And then I'm going to take the other score line and fold it towards me, and then score that good. So it's kind of like a zigzag fold. I'm gonna do the same exact thing on this side, and then I cut a second panel and did the same exact thing. I cut it to the same dimensions, and then I scored and folded along that. So that's how it comes out, and then there's the 2 pieces. So one's gonna be the front and one's gonna be the back part of the card. Okay, so the front part of the card I flattened out, and I'm gonna use that aquarium die that came in the kit, and I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. So I just put it in between the 2 score lines. There we go. And I'm just going to be pulling out all the negative pieces. Okay, and then I did something kind of ridiculous. And I don't recommend you do it unless you have a lot of time to kill, but I cut the aquarium die cut out of some gold cardstock, and then I fussy cut those little pieces and adhered them with some glue, liquid adhesive, to that background. Okay, so I did take some acetate, and I glued the acetate to the back part of that gold and white aquarium piece. And then I'm taking a bunch of little stamps from the stamp set, and I'm going to be doing two-tone stamping. So I'm taking some Hero Arts um, inks, and I'm going to be stamping two tones. So I believe this one is Pool. I showed it earlier. I'm sorry. I think it's the Tide Pool ink, and then I went over it like around the edges of the stamp, and I stamped with corn flour. So I did that a bunch, and I cut out all, die cut all my little elements to put into the aquarium, and they're over there on the right hand side. And then taking those reactive inks that came in the kit, I'm going to be using my distress brush, and I'm just going to be putting ink on this white piece of cardstock that I cut down. And I'm just going to do a blend between the two colors. And it does look a little splotchy. I'm just using regular cardstock, so I don't know if using different cardstock really makes a difference when you're blending it, and maybe using a blending tool, but I just wanted to use the brush to kind of give it that underwater feel. So I just kind of worked it a bit, and once I got the panel to where I kind of wanted it, I took the sea salt reactive ink that came in the kit. I'm going to take a aqua brush, add some water, and I'm going to do some splattering. And this is reactive ink, so it reacts really nicely. I really liked the reaction that it got. And then taking some gold shimmer mist, because I have gold on my front panel for my aquarium, I just wanted to get some gold shimmer mist. So I'm just going to show you here up close. It's got some shimmer going on in the white splotches, kind of make it look like an underwater scene. So here's the back panel of that shadow box card. So I'm going to take this panel that I just did, the ink blending, and I'm going to do some liquid adhesive and glue that on. So that's how it's going to look final project, is that's how I'm going to put it together. Okay, so what I did was take those two reactive inks, and I'm just putting it onto my craft mat. And then I'm going to take my aqua brush, and I'm just going to do a real quick watercolor wash of these two colors. And this is not watercolor cardstock, so you don't want to add too much water so it's too saturated, and you kind of want to move quickly just because it's not watercolor cardstock, and it can start to warp and pull the grains off your paper pretty easily. So once that dried, I use a Thanks die cut, and I ran that through the die cut machine. And I got my little sentiment. So I did want to let you guys in on something. So that thanks negative, you can keep the little piece for the A and then use it on a different card. You can save it for a future project. Okay, so here's the thanks. It's kind of like an ombre kind of look, from a dark to a lighter blue. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is start assembling my aquarium. So I took the same little fishies stamp, and I'm going to be doing some stamping on the background with the same ink, the Avery L Fog ink. And I'm gonna hold it down the same as I did on the previous card, just to make sure that the ink is getting saturated into the card. So I'm gonna stamp it a couple of times in random spots on here. Okay, and I'm gonna be doing a lot of referencing, so I'm gonna put my two card pieces together just to see where I want to put all of my images. So I did actually adhere the seaweed pieces on the bottom, and then using that as a reference, I'm just going to be putting my coral in the places that I need it to go, and then put that down with some liquid adhesive. So you kind of always want to make sure you know where you want what pieces to go. So use that top panel to make sure you got it in the right spot. So just putting everything together, double checking again with my top panel, making sure it's how I want it to go. And then I'm gonna take some before I glue everything together. I'm going to flatten everything out, hold it down, and I'm going to do the placement of my sentiment up on the top middle of the acetate. So adhere that down with some liquid adhesive. And I just wanted to do a little pun on, or quirky saying that says tanks instead of thanks. And then using some liquid adhesive, I'm going to be putting that on the little tabs and then pressing together the two pieces, the front and the back panels. Okay, so here so far, this is what I have. It's really cute. You can see because the tanks is kind of sitting up on the acetate, it does a really cool shadow on the background for the aquarium. And then I just put my little manta ray eel, or manta ray eel, my little stingray on top of the acetate, so he looks like he's swimming through everything. Okay, and that about does it for this shadow box card. It was super fun to do this one. You press it down just like this and you can stick it into a regular A2 envelope, an A2 size envelope. So here's some still shots of the 3 cards that I made for this month's card kit with the My Hero Arts card kit. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got inspired. And let me know in the comments if you want to see 3 more. I have a lot of projects I want to get done, but I can always do 3 more cards with this kit. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Like this video, leave a comment. Let me know which card is your favorite card. Okay, mahalo. I'll catch you on the next one.